Welcome, friends. Today we have a topic National Education Commission, popularly known as Kothari Commission, was an ad hoc commission set up by the Government of India to examine all aspects of the education sector in India and to evolve a general pattern of education and to advise guidelines and policies for the development of education in India. The Commission began its task on October 2, 1964 and submitted its report to the government on June 29, 1966 under the chairmanship of Dr. D.S. Kothari. The terms of reference of the Commission was to formulate the general principles and guidelines for the development of education from primary level to the highest and advise the government on a standardized national pattern of education in India. Let us see the features of this commission. It tried to cover every field and aspect of the entire educational system. Its firm belief that education is the most powerful instrument of national development. The opening sentence of the commission, that the destiny of India is being shaped in her classrooms, denotes the value of education that determine the level of prosperity, welfare and future of the country. Let us see the recommendations of Kothari Commission. Regarding the aims of education, the Kothari Commission says that education should be related to the life, needs and aspirations of the people so that the national objectives may be achieved. The Commission recommended that the aims of education should be focused on increasing productivity through making science education as an integral part of school course, and education should provide work experience, and occasional education should encourage to meet the needs of industrial society and improve the scientific and technical education and research at the university stage. Commission recommended that education should aim for social and national integration through encouraging common school system, social service programs and teaching of language, literature, philosophy and history of India. The Commission also recommended education for modernization. It suggests modernization in education by adopting new methods of teaching and proper development of intrinsic attitudes and values and building essential skills like independent training. It also emphasizing teaching of occasional subjects and science. The Commission recommended that the aim of education should focus on the development of democracy. The success of democracy depends on the enlightened citizenship, and enlightened citizenship is based on the education of masses. Education is the most powerful instrument to make the people aware of their rights and responsibilities. The Commission recommended that the aim of education should focus on the cultivation of social, moral, and spiritual values, and Commission recommended the study of major religions of the world. Let us see the recommendations of Kothari Commission on educational structure and standard. The Commission recommended 10 years of general education, including 4 years of lower primary, 3 years of higher primary, and 3 years of lower secondary education. The Commission recommended to extend graduate course from 2 to 3 years. Commission recommended after graduation there should be a postgraduate of 3 years, and holidays should be minimized. No need to close an education institutions on a religious holidays. Regarding the status of teacher, the Commission recommended that it is necessary to improve the economic, social and professional status of the teachers. The scale of pay of teachers of government and non-government schools should be the same, and a state board of teachers education should be established in each state. The period of training of teachers with the secondary course should be 2 years. The teachers of training colleges should have 2 degrees, namely the master's degree and degree in education, and the students of the training institutions should be given free education. Let us see the recommendations of the Commission about curriculum. In the low-level school education, Commission recommended to follow one language, that is regional or mother language, as a medium of instruction. And the Commission recommended to include the subjects like mathematics, study of environment, creative activities, work experience, and health education, etc. in the curriculum. In the higher education, the Commission recommended to follow two languages, including Hindi or English language, along with mother or regional language as a medium of instruction. The Commission recommended to include the subjects like mathematics, science, social studies, art, work experience, social service, physical education, education in moral and spiritual values, etc. in higher education curriculum. Let us see other recommendations of the Commission. The Commission recommended for the minimum pay of scales for teachers and recommended free textbook at the primary stage, and it recommended adequate number of scholarships and education of the handicapped, and recommended for the education of backward classes and residential facilities at schools, and it also recommended to include co-curricular activities. Thank you for listening the video.